Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So today we're jumping into a really big question for pretty much anyone in SEO, sharing Ahrefs accounts. We all know it happens, but is it actually safe? We're going to break down the real risks and show you the right way to collaborate in 2025.
Okay, let's get right to it. Is sharing your Ahrefs account actually safe in 2025? Well, the short answer is it's a total minefield. Look, whether you're a freelancer trying to keep costs down or a busy agency juggling a dozen clients, the temptation to share is huge. We get it. But the dangers hiding under the surface are very, very real.
You know, on the surface, sharing seems like a no-brainer, right? A super simple way to cut down on a pretty big business expense. But here's the thing. That little shortcut can lead to some seriously big problems. We're talking about things like exposing sensitive client data, or even worse, getting your entire team locked out right when a deadline is looming.
And look, this isn't just some made-up problem. The pressure to share accounts is very real. It actually comes from a few key industry trends that have kind of created the perfect storm for this dilemma.
I mean, just think about it. Subscription costs keep going up. Our teams are all over the place now. Remote workers, freelancers, you name it. At the same time, clients want, and frankly, they need more visibility into what we're doing. And let's be honest, modern SEO workflows are just incredibly complex. All of this together creates a huge incentive to find risky workarounds.
All right, so this is where things get serious. This is where those tempting, cost-saving workarounds can just completely blow up in your face. And we are not talking about small headaches here. We're talking about real, direct threats to your business.
Just think about it for a second. That one password you share with everyone, it's basically a welcome mat for someone to take over your entire account. And yeah, Ahrefs can and will flag simultaneous logins from, say, London and Los Angeles. Boom, everyone's locked out, probably right when you need it most. And for an agency, oh man, the absolute nightmare scenario is a client data leak. Imagine accidentally showing one client's top secret strategy to their biggest competitor. Yikes. With one login for everybody, there's just zero accountability.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. This is what's really at stake. We're moving beyond a simple IT issue now. We're talking about breaking contracts and causing massive damage to your reputation. The kind of damage that can take years, if ever, to fix.
So, you might be thinking, okay, but I'm clever. I can get around this, right? Well, not so fast. What really happens when Ahrefs detects shared logins is way more sophisticated than you'd imagine. It's a full-on detection arms race out there.
You know, a lot of people think, I'll just use a VPN, problem solved. But platforms like Ahrefs are way ahead of you. They're not just looking at your IP address anymore. They're using something called browser fingerprinting. It sounds techy, but it's simple. They're looking at all these tiny, unique details about your browser, like the fonts you have installed, your screen size, your time zone, and they put it all together to create a unique digital ID for your device. If that ID suddenly pops up from a different location, well, alarm bells start ringing. And this really shows you the crazy cat-and-mouse game that's constantly going on. On one side, your browser is basically leaking data that makes you, you. And on the other side, you've got these anti-detect tools trying to create fake fingerprints to fool the system. The bottom line here, trying to stay one step ahead is super risky and, honestly, it's just not a reliable strategy.
All right, enough doom and gloom. We've laid out all the risks, so let's flip the script and talk about solutions. Here is your clear, actionable playbook for collaborating safely and effectively.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the official way. This is the simplest, most compliant method there is. Just use the tools Ahrefs already gives you. This is the 100% sanctioned way to handle your team.
I mean, Ahrefs is actually built for this stuff. You can invite your team members and give them specific roles, like admin or member. You can use shared workspaces to keep projects organized and control who sees what. And of course, you absolutely should lock everything down with two-factor authentication and single sign-on. The best part? You get a complete audit trail. You'll always know who did what and when.
But what if the built-in stuff doesn't quite cover it? What if you need to give a client temporary access or work with a short-term freelancer? Well, for those situations, there's a really smart modern approach. You share the access, not the password.
And this is where some really cool tools like Sendwin come into play.
Instead of handing over your login details, which we now know is a terrible idea, you share a live interactive session of your Ahrefs account. What's amazing is you can blur out sensitive stuff like billing info or other client projects. You can set a timer so access automatically expires, and because it's all in the cloud, every session is totally isolated. No risk of data crossover.
Okay, so let's put it all together and look at this table. For your core internal team, using the native Ahrefs features is the gold standard. It's secure, it's compliant, it's what you should be doing. But when you need that extra flexibility like blurring sensitive info or granting temporary access to a client, a session sharing tool is just a better fit. And notice that last column. Even with fancy anti-detect browsers, you still have to share your actual password. And that's the core risk we're trying to get away from in the first place.
So how do you take all this information and actually use it? Let's build a rock-solid, secure workflow that actually fits the way you and your team work.
Step 1, and seriously, this is the most important one, stop sharing passwords immediately. Step 2, for your main team, use Ahrefs built-in user invites. It's what they're there for. Step 3, lock down every single account you can with two-factor authentication and SSO. No excuses. Step 4, for anyone temporary, freelancers, clients, use session sharing tools. Share the session, not the password. And finally, step 5, this isn't a one-and-done thing. Make it a regular habit to audit who has access to your tools and why. Look, if you forget everything else from this explainer, please remember this one thing. The single biggest security upgrade you can make starting right now is to stop sharing raw login credentials. That one change eliminates almost all of the risks we've talked about.
And that really just leaves us with one final, critical question that you need to ask yourself. Right now, is your workflow actually protecting your business? Or is it exposing it? Think about it. The tools and the strategies to fix this are out there. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.